more than 2 centuries, Americans have left everything they have known and loved, their families and their friends, and stepped forward to serve. As a nation, we have not always fulfilled our obligations to those who served in our name. This is a painful truth. And few have known this better than our veterans wounded in war.
Despite the fact it does not dominate the headlines as it did just several weeks ago, the mess that is the Veterans Administration is far from cleaned up and remains in many cases a solid black eye on this administration and those who preceded it, allowing the disaster to build upon itself for so many years. Now we have some action being taken, but that comes in light of huge bonus paychecks being handed out to those who may still be a huge part of the problem. Welcome to MidPoint. He is a former Army Staff Sergeant with the 82nd Airborne Division, now represents Florida's 1st District along the Panhandle, Congressman Jeff Miller. And she is a combat veteran who served in the U.S. Army for 8 years, serving in combat during Operation Iraqi Freedom and Afghanistan, Operation Enduring Freedom, now a syndicated writer and commentator, Amber Barno. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
Congressman Miller, let me start with you. The Veterans Administration has fired 4 senior executives in what they call their scandal response. It has taken a long time in the American people's view to take this action. Is this enough? Is this simply just basically throwing a bone at the problem right now?
Well, they've actually done notices to fire, which the Secretary and I have conflicting opinions. They say they have to give 5 days notice before they fire somebody. The law allows them to fire with evidence, and unfortunately, if you give somebody notice, they're going to go ahead and retire or quit with no blemish on their record. So we're still not there yet, but I will tell you that Secretary McDonald has made it very clear to me and people within the department that he intends to hold people accountable. It's taken longer than I'd like, but they're moving in the right direction.
Congressman Miller, though, how despicable is that to you as somebody who served in the U.S. military and served proudly, that we now have what amounts to simply another cover-up by people at the top trying to make sure that people still get their money on the way out and are not holding people responsible dead feet to the fire?
Well, first of all, I did not serve in the United States military. However, as chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee in the House, it grieves me and actually ticks me off that these people manipulated the records, caused harm to veterans, received bonuses, promotions, and raises based on the numbers, and they had not until just recently even started to be held accountable. And fortunately, we're moving in that direction. But the problem is, even with the accountability that the department says they're moving forward with, what's the harm to the bureaucrat? The veteran gets harmed, but the bureaucrat gets to leave without a mark on the record.
Amber, then let me throw it to you as well then. Seeing what is happening here, seeing people who basically have been part of the problem then, who have in some ways damaged the health and perhaps even led to, we have no proof of this of course, but led to perhaps the deaths of some veterans who did not get their care in time and they are being allowed to retire. That has got to sit hard in your heart.
It is, and the VA coming out and saying that they are firing 4 top officials is misleading at best. When you think of someone as getting fired, it's being held accountable for their actions. 3 of these 4 employees are still on administrative leave right now, still getting paid, and 1 of them has already retired. That is not what accountability looks like. The VA is not using this VA reform bill as it was intended to do so. These people falsified data to cover up these long wait times. These are not innocent employees that did nothing wrong. They hurt veterans. Some veterans died as a result of these wait times. And so what I would like to see is Secretary McDonald use this piece of legislation that was passed to really correct the faults inside the VA and to start helping veterans. And that's not going to happen if they're just continuing to sidestep some of the some of the procedures that were within the bill to really get the VA back on track. So to me, this is just the VA coming out and trying to take credit for some accountability when that's not the case. There's really not much accountability in this case.
All right, stand by both of you, because when we return, those elected officials who claim to have the VA's interests at heart and their action, those words. Later on this hour, another country is now wrapped in the Ebola crisis as America seeks to find ways to deal with the problem of those coming here from infected countries. Some people believe you can close the borders to these people. We'll discuss that and a whole lot more when MidPoint continues.